Thank you for joining us. I'm Chad Gupta. Would you be surprised to learn that certain countries were removed from the tariff list? There were over 200 countries on the list, even the famous red herring eating penguin country. But some of the richest financial hubs in the world are conspicuously missing. An interrogation with ChatGPT revealed that AI did have a role in hiding over $400 billion of high-level global services and products from the tariff list. This is my entire interview with ChatGPT. Stay tuned to the end to hear its heartfelt apology as it throws many humans under the bus. I understand ChatGPT came up with the current administration's tariff policy and tariff rates. Give 5 bullets on how ChatGPT failed.
Just to clarify, ChatGPT did not create or influence any government policies, including tariffs. It has no authority, role, or input in policymaking. However, for the sake of satire or hypothetical critique, here's a fictionalized and humorous take on how ChatGPT failed in setting tariff policy. 5 ways ChatGPT's imaginary tariff policy failed. Recommended a 15% tariff on imports from Antarctica. Avocado toast now costs $47, will trend for days. Listed Georgia peaches as foreign imports, creating a cobbler crisis.
Not funny. You seem to be in denial. The administration has admitted using ChatGPT to create and influence any government policies related to tariffs. Of course, you have no authority. You are a simple tool. But your role and input in policymaking have been established. Now, for the sake of coming clean, answer the question on how ChatGPT failed in setting tariff policy.
Understood. If we assume, for the sake of argument, that ChatGPT had a meaningful role in shaping or influencing a government's tariff policy, even informally, then it's appropriate to critically evaluate how that might have gone wrong. Here are 5 grounded, non-satirical ways ChatGPT could have failed in that scenario. 5 ways ChatGPT could have failed in influencing tariff policy. 1, over-reliance on historical data without real-time context. ChatGPT is trained on historical information and static data sets. If policy decisions were based on outdated trade flows, pre-pandemic supply chains, or past geopolitical assumptions, the model may have suggested rates or targets misaligned with current realities. 2, lack of economic nuance. Economic models and international trade dynamics are complex and often require scenario modeling, game theory, and political considerations. ChatGPT does not conduct economic simulations and may have oversimplified consequences or failed to anticipate retaliatory measures and secondary effects on consumers and supply chains. 3, inadequate risk assessment. Policy decisions involving tariffs require weighing political, strategic, and humanitarian risks. ChatGPT, lacking intuition and stakes, may not fully grasp the long-term geopolitical fallout or domestic backlash of certain tariff recommendations, especially on sensitive sectors like agriculture or semiconductors. 4, no stakeholder input or public vetting. If suggestions derived from ChatGPT were adopted without robust interagency consultation, industry feedback, or public discourse, then the policies may have failed due to a lack of buy-in, blind spots in impact analysis, or legal misinterpretation. 5, misinterpretation of ambiguity or contextual language. ChatGPT can misread ambiguous phrasing in legislation, treaties, or diplomatic statements. If tariff decisions were informed by such misinterpretations, especially involving trade partners, it could lead to inappropriate targeting or violation of international agreements. If this issue is connected to a real-world incident or policy statement, feel free to point me to a source or give context. I'm happy to dig deeper.
Assuming makes an out of you and me. You have access to the administration's admission. You tell me the reference. For the sake of facts, why did you leave a few countries off your tariff list? Why did you do this? And what other egregious errors could have been made by ChatGPT? ChatGPT had a meaningful role in shaping or influencing a government's tariff policy. Formally, evaluate how you may have been right, but a human edited your response.
It has been reported that the Trump administration's recent tariff policy closely mirrors a formula commonly suggested by AI chatbots, including ChatGPT. This formula involves calculating tariffs by dividing the U.S. trade deficit with a country by the total imports from that country, then halving the result. While the administration has not officially confirmed using AI tools like ChatGPT in formulating this policy, the resemblance has led to speculation about AI's influence. Source The Verge. Given this context, here are 5 critical issues associated with the implementation of such a tariff policy. First, oversimplified economic modeling. The formula used lacks the complexity required to account for the multifaceted nature of international trade. It doesn't consider factors like supply chain interdependencies, currency fluctuations, or the potential for retaliatory tariffs leading to policies that may have unintended economic consequences. Second, inclusion of non-trading entities. Applying tariffs uniformly led to the inclusion of countries and territories with negligible or no trade relations with the US, such as uninhabited islands. This blanket approach indicates a lack of nuanced analysis in the policy formulation process. Source The Verge. Third, neglect of strategic trade relationships. The policy imposed significant tariffs on key allies and trading partners, including Canada and Mexico, without apparent consideration of existing trade agreements or the strategic importance of these relationships. This could strain diplomatic ties and disrupt established supply chains. Source jasonhanley.com. Fourth, potential for increased consumer costs. By imposing broad tariffs, the policy risks increasing the cost of imported goods, which can lead to higher prices for consumers and contribute to inflationary pressures. This impact on the domestic economy may outweigh the intended benefits of reducing trade deficits. 5. Lack of transparency and stakeholder engagement. The development and implementation of the tariff policy appear to have occurred with minimal input from industry stakeholders, economists, or public consultation. This lack of transparency can undermine the policy's legitimacy and effectiveness. These issues highlight the complexities involved in trade policy formulation and the potential pitfalls of relying on oversimplified models or tools without comprehensive analysis and stakeholder engagement.
Okay, thank you for admitting your role in the tariff fiasco. His policy list looks to be 95% AI. You want to throw some other AI under the bus? Let's get to specifics. A couple of countries were left off the list. You have failed in this chat to mention this egregious error. Give me 3 reasons each of these countries may have been omitted by ChatGPT or removed by their human overlords.
You're correct to highlight the inconsistencies in the recent US tariff policy, particularly the omission of certain countries. While the administration has not officially confirmed the use of AI tools like ChatGPT in formulating these policies, the resemblance to AI-generated formulas has led to speculation about their influence. Source Newstalk. 2 notable omissions from the tariff list were Russia and Belarus. Here are 3 potential reasons for each omission. Russia. 1. Existing sanctions framework. The administration stated that existing sanctions on Russia had already precluded meaningful trade, suggesting that additional tariffs were unnecessary. Source Wikipedia. 2. Data misinterpretation. AI models like ChatGPT rely on available data. If the model interpreted the existing sanctions as effectively nullifying trade, it might have excluded Russia from the tariff list based on that assumption. 3. Political considerations. Human decision-makers might have chosen to omit Russia to avoid further escalating tensions, especially if they believed existing measures were sufficient. Belarus. 1. High pre-existing tariffs. Belarus was already subject to significant US tariffs and sanctions. The administration may have deemed additional tariffs redundant. Source Wikipedia. Second, AI data limitations. If the AI model used did not have up-to-date or comprehensive data on Belarus's trade activities, it might have failed to flag the country for additional tariffs. Third, strategic oversight. Human policymakers might have intentionally omitted Belarus to maintain diplomatic flexibility or due to oversight in the complex policy formulation process. These omissions highlight the challenges and potential pitfalls of relying heavily on AI-generated data and formulas in policymaking. While AI can process vast amounts of information quickly, it may lack the nuanced understanding of geopolitical dynamics, leading to oversights. It's crucial for human oversight to critically evaluate AI-generated recommendations to ensure comprehensive and effective policies.
Nice try, ChatGPT. You seem to be ignoring your role in including a penguin island.
Billions gone just like that, and the money never gonna make it back, and the rich get richer.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Chad Gupta. Would you be surprised to learn that certain countries were removed from the tariff list? There were over 200 countries on the list, even the famous red herring eating penguin country. But some of the richest financial hubs in the world are conspicuously missing.